Red Bull and Porsche could benefit from a loophole in proposed budget concessions for the F1 engine change planned for 2026, which is a concern for their rivals. Mercedes and Ferrari are concerned about Red Bull finding a way to work around a new Formula One engine cost cap when it comes into force in 2026. The details are yet to be finalized, but as new technical regulations come into force, it is expected that new engine manufacturers will be allowed to spend extra cash. Red Bull Powertrains is one of these new manufacturers which is expected to qualify for concessions. Within the next few weeks, the team is expected to move its staff into a brand new purpose-built facility in Milton Keynes as the team switches to creating its own engines for the first time. In June, the first draft of the 2026 regulations is expected to be finalized, but there is a guiding framework already in place. Under current plans, new manufacturers like Red Bull Powertrains and any other who join the sport would be entitled to an extra $10 million in their budget cap for the first 2 seasons, and $5 million in the third. In addition, a further $15 million allowance would be made for capital expenditure projects. Red Bull chief Christian Horner is happy with the first 2 figures, but believes the extra allowance should be bigger as new projects will be playing catch-up with their more established engine-making rivals. I think the framework that actually exists within the power unit regulations is reasonable from a newcomer status perspective, which obviously Red Bull Powertrains will be for 2026, he said. It's modest hours, and it's a modest I think $10 million in the first 2 years and $5 million in the third year as an allowance for a newcomer. The thing that is the most restrictive that needs to be looked at is from a capex perspective, because essentially, there is only $15 million worth of capital expenditure allowed on equipment from when the cap comes in. Now, when you look at our competitors, that in some cases have obviously had 70 years of investment on the engine side, to think that you can have a facility fully operational and equipped within the next 8 months, is unrealistic. I think that's something that needs to be looked at. Despite Horner's concerns about that figure, rivals are even more worried about a way the team could potentially find a way to double the extra amount they can spend. Red Bull have been tipped to join forces with Porsche as the German manufacturer looks to enter F1, and they may collaborate on the 2026 engine. The likes of Mercedes and Ferrari already believe that the removal of the MGUH component from the engines has leveled the playing field, and so in their opinion the extra budgetary wiggle room already gives an advantage to the new manufacturers. Plus, any lack of clarity within the rules could lead to a joint effort like the one proposed between Red Bull and Porsche receiving 2 lots of the full allowance for the same project. Another possible clarity problem might come in the form of Audi. They too plan on entering F1, though it is possible that their project might be standalone, entering as a new team. As both Audi and Porsche are owned by the VW Group, it raises another question as to whether or not they would qualify individually for the extra spending allowance. It's not clear yet who actually enters as a power unit supplier and who declares themselves as newcomers, Mercedes chief Toto Wolff said. It could well be that there are 3 companies from the same group that are entering as newcomers. The picture is still very unclear, and whether $15 million capex is enough or not enough, there are much bigger topics that we need to agree on, which we haven't. Also discussing the issue, Ferrari boss Mattia Binotto brought up the need to make sure the transferring of intellectual property like engine designs is properly policed. "We're very happy for Porsche and Audi to join F1, he said. That's great for F1. It's very great for us, as well, to compete with those brands. On the regulations, we know that the objective is to try and finalize by June. There are no new discussions relating to that, but there are still open points overall, which are financial regulations. We need to consider what we define what is a newcomer and what are the benefits of a newcomer. All that needs to be clarified and defined. There is also the IP transfer. IP transfer should not be possible, that was agreed. How we translate that into a wording needs to be decided. There are points on the technical side that are still open discussions, still many things that need to be moved forward and analyzed. Time is certainly very short, so we need to work on it as a high priority.